Before we begin, take a moment to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and turn on notifications so you never miss stories like this. Your support helps us bring you powerful, emotional stories that stay in your heart long after the video ends. These are the kinds of stories that remind us how delicate relationships can be and how a single unexpected moment can quietly change an entire life. So get comfortable, take a deep breath, and stay with me until the very end, because tonight's story isn't about loud drama, it's about a life that slowly fell apart without anyone noticing. It was meant to be an ordinary Saturday evening. Nothing exciting. Nothing out of the ordinary. Just one of those peaceful moments that arrives after a long week, when responsibilities finally loosen their grip and tomorrow hasn't started making new demands. Most evenings like that disappear from memory, but sometimes the quietest nights leave behind the deepest scars. The house felt strangely silent. It wasn't the kind of peaceful silence that brings comfort. It felt unnatural, almost rehearsed, as if everything around me had been carefully arranged to hide something waiting beneath the surface. I had just finished tidying up the house. Freshly folded laundry sat neatly stacked, almost as if keeping everything organized could somehow protect our family from the chaos I couldn't yet see. The dining table was already prepared, untouched and waiting for dinner. I poured myself a cup of hot tea, and the gentle sound of the porcelain cup echoed through the silent house far louder than it should have. Settling into my favorite corner of the sofa, I let the familiar cushions wrap around me, offering the kind of comfort only years of routine can create. The refrigerator hummed steadily in the background, its quiet rhythm filling the empty rooms like the steady beat of a heart. From the kitchen, I heard my partner softly humming to himself. It wasn't a melody I recognized. In fact, it didn't even sound like he was enjoying it. It felt automatic, distant, almost lifeless, as though his body was standing in the kitchen while his thoughts were somewhere I could never reach. The comforting smell of dinner drifted through the house. Garlic, fresh herbs, and a hint of sweetness floated through the air. It was a scent that had always reminded me of home, warmth, and family. Tonight, somehow, it felt different. The children were out spending time with their friends. Their usual laughter no longer echoed through the hallway, leaving behind an uncomfortable silence that pressed against every corner of the house. For one brief moment, I convinced myself that everything was fine. Maybe even perfect. But life has a strange way of warning us. Sometimes, when everything becomes too quiet, it isn't peace you're feeling. It's a sign that something is about to change. At first, I couldn't explain what felt wrong. There were no arguments, no slammed doors, no angry voices filling the house. Nothing looked different. Yet deep inside, something refused to settle. It felt as though the walls themselves were holding their breath. Have you ever experienced that feeling? When everything appears normal, but your instincts quietly whisper that nothing is the same anymore. That's exactly what I felt. A silent warning. A voice somewhere deep inside telling me to pay attention. I took another sip of my tea, hoping its warmth would chase away the growing uneasiness. It didn't. The feeling stayed with me, wrapping itself around every thought I tried to escape. The truth was, I had been noticing small changes in him for weeks. Nothing obvious at first. Just little things that were easy to ignore. His laughter wasn't as genuine anymore. His smiles disappeared almost as quickly as they appeared. And his phone. It never left his hand. There was a time when he'd forget it on the kitchen counter or lose it between the couch cushions. Now it stayed with him every second. More than once, I caught him staring at the screen with a faint smile that seemed meant for someone else. Whenever our eyes met, that smile vanished immediately. It was replaced by a calm expression that somehow felt far too controlled. "I'm just checking something for work," he'd always say. The same explanation. The same tone. The same rehearsed answer. At first, I believed him. That's what trust does. It believes even when doubt quietly knocks at the door. But over time, the little things began adding up. Late-night messages. Phone conversations that ended the instant I entered the room. A nervous restlessness that followed him wherever he went. And when love begins to feel uncertain, silence becomes one of the loudest sounds you'll ever hear. Every pause starts carrying meaning. Every quiet moment begins to feel like it's hiding a secret. That evening, as I stared toward the soft light spilling from the kitchen into the hallway, something inside me finally shifted. I stopped telling myself I was imagining things. The house felt heavy, almost as though it had been carrying a truth it could no longer hide. Then I heard it. A faint sound. Slow. Steady. Intentional. It came from upstairs. At first, I tried to explain it away. Maybe it was the wind. Maybe old pipes adjusting to the cold. This house had always creaked with age. But then the sound came again. Slower this time. Each faint noise echoed through the silence like the steady beat of a nervous heart. My breath caught. The tea in my hands had already gone cold. Something wasn't right. I slowly turned toward the hallway. The dim light stretched long shadows across the wooden floor, making the familiar house suddenly feel strange and unfamiliar. Then I noticed it. Liam's bedroom door was slightly open. My heart skipped. That door was never left open. Liam guarded his privacy fiercely. Every single night, without fail, he closed his bedroom door before going to bed. It had become part of his routine. But tonight, the door stood partially open. A cold chill ran down my spine. My heartbeat pounded so loudly I could hear it echoing inside my ears. For a moment, I tried to stop myself. Don't do it. Respect his privacy. But another voice, quieter and impossible to ignore, whispered something else. Go and see. Every step toward that doorway felt heavier than the one before it. The air grew thick, making every breath harder to take. My trembling hand slowly reached for the doorknob. Deep down, I already knew. Whatever waited on the other side of that door was about to change my life forever.